nothing to do with the video, but I want to let you know how crippling poverty is. So I bought my memory cards eons ago and they were cuck expensive. Well, for me, when I bought them at the time. So in my mind, memory cards are like, fuck, it's a 128. I'm like, it's not I broke it. Let me just quickly go get one. So I look at, babe, I'm so crippled by poverty. I even looked up how much this thing is. And this is, baby, I've owned this thing. When I checked today how much it is, I'm like, Vanna, that's how we DDB crippling. Will keep you from Googling. I say this to say I have to delete so many things before I can sit and chat to you guys. But hello, hi, it is me, I. Small town DD or Khadi and DJ very internet. Akastracha and Bakalau Yala. You all, thank you so much. I see you guys engaging with the comments. I just have work. I'm trying to get the videos out on time, and you guys know that this is really hard for me. Consistency on here has not been a strong suit of mine. So nobody's being ignored. And I get psyched about, like, so you guys crack me up, like, honestly. So no, you guys are keeping me going. That's why I'm keeping the videos coming, because I'm like, oh, they like hearing from me. So great. But let's get into it. There are tons of comments under the Onezwa and what's her name? Guys, I don't do this on purpose. I keep wanting Nara Smith. And there were similar like rebuttals online, but there's something in particular that was said that made me no, this is not that video. I really just want to talk about influences and business practices and things like that. And how it happens. But in that comment, somebody mentions that I say that orders are selling us this thing while saying Nara's selling us this thing, but it's all capitalism, and that she pushes a lot of her own product, which is her seasonings. She's like salts and sauces and things like that. She's like they're in every video. And that sparked this conversation in me, because I tell you guys all the time how I'm working really hard to build a online brand in my not as small town DD, which is, if it grows into its own thing, amazing. There's a more concerted effort in my professional capacity to do so, like I said, because the potential for that to be an actual I just feel there's more potential there. Not that I'm not putting in effort here, but I don't know how to explain that, right? So I look at a lot of these things, and I look at how other people went about making a success of themselves, very much in the South African context. Like, I don't play too far from home, because I'll get into the whys. This video is about that. Oneza made the right move, and she seems to have done it really early on, right? She did the salt, where she went to the ocean and she got the salt, and she did the dehydrating process, and then she put her herbs and stuff, and somebody was like, okay, bottle that. Maybe that was her plan all along, or whatever the issue is, or she's like, okay, there's a market here. But if she thinks like I do, then this is probably where she was always going to go, right? And she does that, and now she is DC, and like it's a double-edged sword, the conversation, because I'm like, we are experiencing sort of a lot of influencer, I can call them scams, but not really scams, but like less than desirable service, less than desirable quality in product, outright, I can say in some instances scams, because if you wrote on your site that this is, or you didn't put the disclaimer that the wig you're selling is not raw whatever hair, and then it's synthetic, and then it frizzes up, but that was not a disclaimer, and for the amount that you sold it for, your audience, I don't wear wigs, right? I wouldn't know. Pamela Tongo trended. I said to you guys in the Durban video that the first time I heard of this hand was over a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when she trended, because everybody's like, this hand sold us some jacked up hair.
Let it happen. Me, I'm in a diploma civil engineering. I got shit. I got things, man. Okay,
you know, and then as the drama was happening, the site gets updated, the girlies say. The site was then updated to, oh, that's not human hair, right? And then obviously her fans and other people who are used to buying this kind of stuff at a higher price are now asking everybody, oh, how much did you pay for it? And I think the comment, somebody said 1.2, and they were like, oh, you should have known then that it wasn't the no. There should have been a disclaimer. Now, is Pamela wrong to go into the business that she is known for? No, none of the girls are wrong, right? And I'm looking at Onezo, I'm like, I haven't heard anything about, but like she has clearly a waiting period where she says to people, we're stocking up or we're working on stock, and then you order, you do this. I think the problem goes or happens when the girls and boys take payment ahead of time, right? Or just the quality isn't what they said they were gonna give us. But the girls aren't wrong, and the girls don't have a choice. They have to very quickly start to bring you a product that they are solely in charge of, because the South African influencer scene is not paying that shit. It is simply not something you can live off. Anybody who is thinking of going into influencing, and this is when you have time to sit, because your number is not up yet, right? Like my shit's not popping yet. I can sit and watch and be like, okay, if the influencer numbers were really doing what the girls say they're doing, we would not have the things on TikTok where people are asking, oh, what are influencer rates? What should I charge for this and that? And then the answers are always so vague. It's never that simple, you know. You gotta, how many others do you have? And oh, it's no longer about followers. If that were the case, we would have less people feeling the need to work on their own businesses. They are a business. As an influencer already, you are the brand, the business. But we have so many of them quickly realizing that you must merchandise very, very quickly. You must get into this. If you can establish yourself an authority in the kitchen, an authority on building flavor, yes, have some salts, okay? Have some seasonings, have some sauces and stuff. So this really has nothing to do with Nara, except it brings about this conversation that I'm wondering, how come other people get it right and other people get it so wrong? It seems inevitable, though. It seems like the only way to have a good make a good living as a South African influencer is to eventually go into business and have a product of your own that you sell to people. This we've established. But the girls move too quickly. The girls move too big. Your audiences are larger than you think. And perhaps what's happened is that you're chronically online. Like you have 100K followers on TikTok. You become desensitized as to what that number means. Like 100K people, how overwhelming walking into a stadium filled up with however many people equivalent to your following, how that would swallow and overwhelm you, because for now, it's really just a number on the screen. Do you see what I'm saying? So so when you start this venture, not only do you not have, this is just an observation. I've had to, Hans, because when my number is up, I'm fucking, I gotta hit the ground running. So I've had to look at what the honesters are doing. Like, okay, it's working. We're not hearing scandals. It's better to have people on the waiting list and not take their monies, because that makes people impatient, and just say, we'll tell you when we restock, right? And fine, they may get a little antsy. But the boys that Bonnet Gate, what's his name? His name is not Mbuyiseni Didi. I will insert stuff here.
But then she's still complaining because athi sispele kabi igama lakhe. Ngithi hayi mina ngiyaxolisa ukuthi sikudelay futhi siphambanise negama. So mina into engizoyenzani? Ngizokunikeza i-refund. Niyabona why ngihlala ngishumayela ukuthi niboyeke amadoda phansi, nishiye amadoda phansi. Ya ugeli wa order ama-bonnets kimi, but then instead of ukuthi akhokhe ku-account yami, ngamnikeza i-account yomfana womzulu engangijula naye. Hayi phela yazi nawe uthando masolo kungenile uthi nje hayi take over. I cannot do this on my own unless you take over. So then ngahluleka keep a track of her order because it didn't reflect on my account. You understand? Because now when I'm processing orders, I go through my bank statement to see who has ordered and whatsoever. But then I didn't see her name there. So that's what caused the entire delay. But bandla 3 months, kodwa nami. Hey guys, I am fully aware of what's happening on the media, and unfortunately unfortunately, this is my brand, this is my baby, and I will defend it. I won't just keep quiet and watch people say whatever about it. Obviously, I made a video explaining what had happened, and then the video was taken down because they said personal information community guidelines violations whatever. Those who saw the video saw it. Ngokukhulu ukuzehlisa la ngokuzithoba hayi ngiyaxolisa bandla, ngiyaxolisa ayidle ishiyele or whatever they say. Yeah, uBaby girl ordered ama bonnets from me, and then mina I forgot her order, and then it delayed to 3 months I think. And yeah, ukuthi nje yazi ukuba i-celebrity kunzima ngoba ngapha ubusy uyashuta wenzani, so you fail to keep track with such things. Ngiyaxolisa. So I did see that uBaby girl received ama bonnets wakhe, but then she's still complaining because athi sispele kabi igama lakhe. Ngithi hayi mina ngiyaxolisa ukuthi sikudelay futhi siphambanise negama. So mina into enzoyenzani ngizokunikeza i-refund. So nayi nje i-message hayi ngizoscreenshota nje ngibeke la. Ngimthumelele nje i-refund, and then angazi manje ine-TK1 because ngithe hi, I hope you are well. I did see that you collected your bonnets and you're still unhappy. So let me give you a full refund. You will collect at Shoprite or Checkers. I do apologize for any inconveniences caused. Ngamthumela nayo icode ukuthi aye withdraw. So angazi whether ungblockile or wathi ngoba kunama-tick ayi-1 kodwa nje bengicela ukuthi hayi nimtshele bandla ukuthi unblock ukuze athole lawo ma-message, then ahamba ayicollecta nje imali yakhe a-ode ngayo. Then mina ngithi kusizwe sikaShaga makuyikuthi uke wa-order something from kimi and then awukayitholi, hayi khululeka ugcwale ibhavu, inamba ikhona kubhayo, sithumele nje imessage usho ukuthi hayi nga-order into enje ngelanga elingaka ngikayitholi, uthumele phela ne-screenshot yokubonisa ukuthi hayi wakhokha inkosi impela, then hayi sizokulungisela i-order yakho or sikunikeze i-refund. Ngoba phela ngisiyona ikhompyutha, ngingumuntu nami and ngiyakhohlwa, and manje ngimatasatasa ngama-unboxings, ngama-brands, ngiyatravela manje khona ngibuye eDurban, in 2 weeks time ngiyaflya ngiye eMozambique. So nje kuhlangahlangene nje maningi amabhizinisi engiwaranayo and wonke nje afuna i-attention yami. So hayi ngiyaxolisa makuyikuthi angisuke ngiresponde in time, but hayi ke khululeka ngoba nje usekhona uPA, hayi ukhona uPA, uyakhona ukukhuluma naye from 9 AM kusesha 5 AM Monday to Saturday. On top of that, i-branding team yami ivele yathi hayi siyakubona wena ukuthi ngumuntu oqhakathekileyo Stevie, yabona lesi simo sisifundisa ukuthi we should always be on time. So ama-orders wabantu they now take 1 day to process, and i-delivery is between 1 to 3 days. Angisiyena umuntu othanda ukuxolisa ngoba I'm never wrong, kodwa kulesi simo hayi ngiyaxolisa.
But there was the saga with the bonnets, right? And it seems you took money ahead of time. Money was deposited, and then people are out here waiting for these bonnets. Also, hey, these businesses, the bonnet is said to be 50 bags, and then like the delivery charge is 100 bags. Now, granted, this does not seem like a bonnet of the highest quality. More than anything, I think you guys just want a piece of this person, and it's a staple of his in the videos, and you were all trying to show him some love and stuff. But at some point, he did not pick up on the fact that, oh, okay, this is how long it takes to finally get this thing to this person. And also, it seems it wasn't being run as a business. Like, listen to this. I'm not even claiming that I know how to do it. I'm just saying you can't lose track of, guys. And I've done things. You guys know that I'm out here trying to make life work by myself. I have wronged people. I have tried to come back and remedy situations. In instances, I've been given grace to remedy situations and stuff. But with the influences, guys, the lack of what is it called? Media training, because we're just thrust into it at this point, right? The lack of media training and all of this, like trying to do back and forths with people. Fucking tell you something. I don't even do back and forths on the text. I'll explain. Like, let me tell you something. If something happens and maybe there was a misunderstanding and I text back to explain, oh, remember, this is why I hate disappearing WhatsApp messages. If you start talking to me and we're talking business and you have that feature on, we're going to have to take that off because we need that record. We need it for me to come back and say, this is where the confusion may have happened. This is what I understood the instruction to be. And that's why this is the product you ended up with. You know, if there are apologies, I should apologize. And I do. But if I feel like I'm being baited into an argument, I will shut that conversation down. Like once I feel like as a business, I've done enough business explaining, and at this point, you're just looking to be made whole, and I unfortunately can't do that for you. I'm done. You are not gonna get to own the screenshot of where I say, "Oh my God, Han, And then it starts with hi, and then it ends with now we're not getting along. But also, I've had my mishaps. I've been in this for a while now to know that you don't do these. You don't give people that screenshot. They're looking for it. Sometimes making you trend is what's gonna make them whole. And baby, make me trend on red, babe. Like you're gonna have to make me trend on you on red, huh? Like listen, once I've explained, you guys don't understand. Somebody like recently tried to bait me, you guys. Like, and I was just like, you know, when you read and you try to figure out if there's any more explaining you can do in the instance that you aren't wrong, right? Or any more apologizing you can do in the instance that you've done something wrong. Like, there's just nothing more you can do. You are allowed to stop talking. You really are. And the girls do a lot of lying. But the point is the infrastructure isn't there. You don't have the infrastructure to help you, and it's not thought through. A lot of it is done on a whim, and I understand the poverty says catch the wave. It's coming in now, and you got to ride out with it. But then you end up messing up what could potentially be a very strong brand, because this is where we start now. And people don't forget these kinds of things. Very few people get a redemption arc. You know, you got to be a certain kind of, I don't know what, funny, pretty, male, whatever. But like you gotta be a certain kind of something. We don't all get this do-over. And some of us know that we aren't built, like we don't got 9 lives. We barely got the one that we do. We're holding on for dear fucking life, girl. But like the girls are forced to go into business. The chat is, if you're gonna go the influencer route, you very quickly need to realize that you must get your business hat on. This thing of you're just gonna shoot and wait for virality and then see what you're gonna do with it, it's not a thing. The plans unfortunately need to happen now. You need to lay the pipe now. You need to lay the groundwork now. And maybe I'm saying this because I'm a person who's already like has a business, like, you know, maybe that's why I can sit here and say that. And some people, your business is that you want to be in entertainment. I don't know. But the campaigns aren't there. Honestly, is not wrong. And even when, and it's not that they aren't there simply because of the competition factor that was mentioned. The campaigns are simply not there because they're just not looking to pay South African influencers like that. The very apps that they pop on, like, I don't even understand why there hasn't been an effort yet by South African influencers to band together and do something to get TikTok to pay them. The complacency is also why the apps are not rewarding to us. In fact, from what I understand, the Red app is still the app where you could possibly still see some money. And even then, you know, you got to get this many views, you got to do this. South Africans don't have maybe of late they do, but long form content has not been our thing for a bit. But now we like the long podcasts where people talk about the horrible marriages that they've had. You know, in terms of what I'm doing here, I don't know how well this is going to do, especially when you get into me doing the reviews that are much longer and stuff. So in terms of looking at this as something that can feed me, then you look at the biggest person or the second biggest person in the same kind of vein of what it is I'm doing, which is Owami and then Sims. And then it took them a minute to build up to those numbers, right? And I suppose once the first few ascend, maybe the ones after that ascend a lot quicker and then the plateau happens or whatever the issue is. But like, you look at those two people in particular, Owami doesn't have, granted, she doesn't work with a lot of product, right? Meaning there's no brand that can look at her and be like, she is the authority on this. When if Owami was to, in fact, I think at some point she was advertising what I think is an MLM, and I don't know if she knew that, but somebody in the comments said. But I don't see a lot of ads when I've watched this stuff, and I haven't watched in a while. Sims, I think, has gotten some fashion stuff because she also does hosting, like as an MC and stuff, and the person or the brand would dress her for whatever. But in terms of like this is why the girls are forced to go the lifestyle route. Everybody wondering, oh, how many skincare routines do we need? How many whatever? Because again, when we sit and study, you know, the people who've been doing it, it looks like the lifestyle girls are the ones that are making some kind of money, but it's not consistent money. Sooner or later, those girls need to come out with a lip kit or whatever's popping. If they see that blush is on the horizon, they better quickly work on a blush line. And then even then, we're back to not having the infrastructure. Is the money there? Are the distribution channels there? The branding, the marketing? Are you going to be able to do the PR packaging? Because you are competing with MAC, or you're competing with whatever makeup company that does PR and stuff. And you're not that resourced like that. So is this I think that's the question. Is influencing really a viable career for the South African influencer or aspiring influencer? Or should something be done to pressure? Because the work is being put in, the influence is happening, people are being influenced by these people, but it's like, are they being remunerated for their labor? As an influencer, you wake up every day as a content creator aspiring to potentially be an influencer, or either or. You wake up every day and you put out a piece of content that keeps people on an app, and you see no money from that. But you worked. You actually worked. And it's like, and you hope that your cumulative effort, if you would like, pays off. But the payoff is usually like a once-off kind of check. And it's like, and then what? You know? Guys, I don't think there's money up. I think that's my fucking check. Guys, I don't think are the girls like, what are the girls charging? Are there nano influencers inside that? Listen, talk to me. Please talk to me. I need somebody who knows. Rakgadi needs your help. Rakgadi's business needs your help. Tell Rakgadi how we're going to make this guap. Editing Didi, and I'm realizing I'm making this seem like an exclusively South African experience. I feel like we are pushed to it earlier from my lens because that's where I am. But it speaks to the greater bubble of the influencer economy, if you would like, right? We saw some of our biggest fave realizing that they need a product of their own, right? Jackie Aina coming out with Forever Mood, which is a fragrance house, because we see that now that's why she's doing all of that performance of domesticity. She's going to sell you all types of things over the years. She's about to Martha Stewart you to fucking death, which is not a bad thing. We love it. She started with the candles, right? Something very affordable. Do you see what I'm saying? There was strategy. Do you see? Because most of us have, yes, there's a housing crisis. There's a housing crisis all across the globe. But most of you have somewhere you call home. And you can bring a candle into your home and you can light it up. And you start with, when I talked about Slee on Real Housewives of Durban, that girl, you would have done better selling us like some scatter cushions or some kitchen towels or something, because you say you're an interior hand. Now you're over here trying to sell us some weird fashions. Go no. Do you understand? So I'm not saying, I think Emma Chamberlain has a coffee line because she drinks like coffee and things like that. And she's a mega influencer, and they can go into it like that. The one who's really got it right, and maybe this is the model that might work for the local girlies, but they don't have that kind of influence, where I don't think they do. When Bonang launched B&G, right? And essentially she leased her name to this company like a Diddy did to Ciroc, or, you know, along those lines. And there was all that drama of them trying to cut her out and all of that. But I think Bonang's deals need to be studied. But the kind of girls we're talking about don't have that kind of staying power. They have not proved themselves to be something to bank on like that. So I said all that to say, no, it's not just our problem. It's speaking to where the thing is going. But in the South African context, I feel that's been the case since, simply because the hands aren't even getting paid on the fucking TikTok. The Huns are just not getting paid regardless. We saw Fanta or Coca-Cola as the thing with that stupid campaign that they did where we were seeing the Fanta everywhere. Like any influencer had that deal. And this is not the early days of influencing where it's like, if you give all the girls the PR packages, we get so envious. That was disgusting. Nobody wanted that, right? It's that or nobody's getting any deals. Because I check. I see this person posts multiple times a day. They've got a good following. They've got great engagement. And I try to see how many times I see sponsored posts. No, babe. I feel good. And I know sometimes when we hear the kinds of numbers, and usually the numbers we hear are of the people who are at the top of the food chain of the structure. We're not hearing about the little guy that's still like with a rickety ring light here. Self-read there, but like Jen Sands. But that's all. I came back in to say that. All right. Mwah. Bye, Yella.